Draft Chaff. Coming up this week. So, it just wins, right?
It just wins.
All right. Why don't we swap gears to a not at all Chaff card? Like this might be the best card in the set, right? That's like a fine thing to be.
That's
right?
valid. Yeah, no, that's valid.
you should be a coward on Duskmourn. What's up, aficionados, and welcome back to Draft Chaff. I'm Ben, one of your hosts. Joining me on the line is Tyler. Should we tell them the news?
What's the news?
Our spoiler card. Our exclusive Duskmourn spoiler card.
Yes,
it's actually
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's actually my favorite card of all time, I think. And this is maybe a hot take, and it's not the sort of thing people usually think about for a reprint, but I'm glad they decided to bring it back. That's right. We are stoked to announce that Duskmourn will contain planes.
Oh my god! I was like, where are we going with this?
For white mana, you know it, you love it. It's first on the color wheel. It's top of the pack for a reason. There will be planes in Duskmourn.
You're such a white deck wins player. You're a little white weenies player over here.
I like white weenies. Don't do that out of context. All right, we got to move on. Let's get into our usual housekeeping, or the housekeeping. Duskmourn, the house.
I like that.
Yeah, I read the story. I read the lore. It's pretty good. The house is always watching. There's ears everywhere and eyes also everywhere. If you're not in Discord, hop in there. We're talking a lot about spoilers these days. A lot of cool stuff going on. A lot of cool cards, many of which we're about to talk about today. That being said, Bloomburrow isn't that over. I mean, we sort of just started.
I was going to say, I get whiplash. I know.
Yeah. Four? I don't know. Whatever it is. We're still posting decks. We're still posting trophies. I mean, I'm still posting trophies. I don't know when I get the chance.
If you want to see some trophies, though, check out the YouTube. I was going to say, we posted a nice little frog deck that went pretty well.
That's right. And a brave commenter did call us out for a little bit of hypocrisy. So kudos to you, commenter. Everyone else, please go. What's the opposite of like a review bomb situation? Like a review anti-bomb?
Yeah, I don't know.
Antimatter bomb our YouTube channel, please. Got to balance out that comment section a little. Anyway, yeah, I definitely check out our YouTube channel as well. Patrons, thanks. Y'all are the best. We have, well, those Stoke Goat stickers. They're in the mail. They're on their way to me, and they'll be on their way to you soon enough. Any patron at the sticker tier gets a sticker in the mail coming your way. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I got some for you too.
I know, they look phenomenal, dude. I'm pumped to see them in person.
I'll toss it up on the screen here. We've seen it already, but honestly, Julia knocked it out of the park with this one. This looks so sick.
She slayed.
Slayed. We're up in our lingo. That's right. I'm back to school, so I'm back in teenager mode.
Got to get those Gen Z words out. Yeah, Rizzler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna make myself cringe.
Well, yeah. How about we rizz up a crack-a-draft type thing real quick? Let me just skibbity myself on over to my
All right, I'm leaving.
Modern Horizons
today.
Modern Horizons. Please don't go. Modern Horizons 3 box.
I've got to go, man.
Oh my god! All right, I think we're done here. I've got a paper pack of MH3. I'm finally cracking up one of these boxes. The rest I will somehow. Oh, maybe not crack, maybe crack. I don't know. We'll see.
The temptation, as soon as that box is open, the temptation just flows out.
I can feel it already. Honestly, Bloomburrow, whatever. We're almost off it. The spoiler season is here, so why not throw it back to it? An awesome set, and more relevant now than ever. The top decks in Modern, they're just like, it's just Mardu energy, Boros energy, Necro.
I mean, even before the bans, it was all the MH3 cards. Rest in peace, Nadu.
Yeah, watch. We're going to open a Nadu here. Let's get this.
Ooh, we got a little ASMR action. Okay.
That's good. This is going to be a nice little blast from the past here. First card out is Colossal Dread Mask, the 6 mana 6/6 equipment. Fine.
Good card,
you know? Yeah. It's their Writhing Chrysalis, but there's a retrofitted Transmigrant. This one had some real play in the black sort of like recursion engine artifact deck. I know we were both fans.
I was going to say I'm a big fan of that card.
Yeah, not as good as Writhing Chrysalis, of course. We've got a Mandibular Kite. This one's actually kind of getting there, but you know it's not as good as Writhing Chrysalis. Yeah, that's the 1 mana flying equipment thing. This could jump white decks into the late game, and you could do some pretty wild stuff if you put some counters on this and started proliferating. Really, just demolish your opponent in the skies. Inventor's Axe. This one is nowhere near as good as Writhing Chrysalis. That's the energy axe. I did, though. Every time I see this card, I think about the opponent who flashed it in on their end step of turn 1 and then played Amped Raptor on turn 2 and hit a Area Auxiliary. And I was like, all right, game's over. Sage of the Unknowable. Not Writhing Chrysalis, so I'm just going to breeze past. I mean, you can play it in blue-green Eldrazi, but the red Eldrazi decks were where it was because of stuff like the Titan's Vanguard or obviously Wrigley Chris. Foreboding Landscape is our next card out. That's the Sultai land. Yeah.
I missed land at common. Bloomburrow. Didn't quite get there.
We're getting them in the next set. We've got some of those to talk about. They look great. Wow, no the Writhing Chris in this pack. We're on to our uncommons. We've got a Consuming Corruption. That's the black deal X drain where X the number of swamps.
It's pretty good.
This card.
I was gonna say I like this card more than I think I saw it played. I mean, you're not really playing monocolored decks, but I don't know, it felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we've got a Tameo meets the Story Circle. That's the one of the blue enchantment saga. This one didn't really do much. No. Wow, this pack is like.
Where's Chris? I mean, at this point, you just concede the event, right? And you just go home.
Well, don't say that quite yet. We got a Voltstorm Angel. I love this card.
Okay, yes, you do like your angel cards.
Yeah, I love an angel. And this guy is pretty good. Can be a lifelinker, vigilance, buff your team. Fan of that. We do have a DFC. It's a Rush of Inspiration. That's the blue-red tap lands that has an instant. You can draw 2, discard a card at random unless you pay energy. That was fine.
Fine, yeah.
Can we just get like a bust? Can we just get like an Ulamog or something? This pack has been total garbage. Well, it's a really expensive card, by which I mean mana value-wise. It's Karik, Son of Yawgmoth, the 4 or 7 mana Phyrexian hybrid. Basically unplayable in all scenarios.
Womp womp.
Oh, don't worry. We got a Flare.
Ooh.
Those cards are pretty good. What's the best Flare to open?
The blue one. I can't remember what it is. Whatever the free counterspell is.
Yeah. What's the worst one to open?
Probably either the white one, I think, was pretty bad. It's almost like a Teferi's Protection, I think. Like, are we talking about like in general price value? Or are we talking about for like a limited?
I just mean kind of vibe-wise, because I opened the red one and I think that's kind of garbage.
The red one's not bad. It's actually played in like the EDH deck I play, so I think it does see some play.
Really, the one it's a I guess it's you sack a red thing to copy an instant or sorcery.
Yeah, it's not as good as like a deflecting swat, but you still get like a free effect, you know.
Yeah, okay, that's true. All right, well then we do have a foil in this pack, and it's a Corrupted Shapeshifter.
That flare of the red flare I actually used to copy my opponent's black flare, the Flare of Malice, to make them sacrifice. This was in a limited event we played. It felt pretty good, but
I've seen run of that's pretty sick. I don't know. That pack was kind of I think maybe just one more pack.
It's starting, Ben. You're getting corrupted over here.
This is actually a pack cracking channel now. That's all we do.
I'm fine with that.
Zealot. We're gonna breeze through this anyway. That's the Energy Tapper. Fine card. It's not Writhing Chris. Seed Smash, not Writhing Chris. Corrupted Shapeshifter, not Writhing Chris. Expanding Ooze, not Writhing Chris. Are any of these cards even like?
I like Expanding Ooze.
None of these cards are ones that I'd be stoked to take first pick. Like out of that first pack, I guess we're taking the Voltstorm Angel. If we're talking limited, I guess the Flare is like a fine.
I wouldn't take the Flare. Yeah, I mean, in a draft format, I wouldn't take the Flare.
Yeah, the next best card is like, I guess, Mandibular Kite.
That one's fine. I honestly might take that the recursion card, the Artifact. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I just love the Artifact deck so much in MH3.
Mm-hmm. We got a Fetid Gargantua. Card's fine. Oh, here we go. Finally, some action. Conduit Goblin, the red-white energy guy.
Oh, nice. Okay, gives haste.
Nice little 2-cost guy there. Obstinate Gargoyle, the black-white common. No Writhing Chris's in these packs. Wumpus Aberration, the format of 6/6.
Wumpus.
Solid card. I do like me a Wumpus. Now in this pack, I think I would take the Conduit Goblin over it, and probably nothing else.
Yeah, Conduit Goblin's just it's a good card. It's solid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's one for us. Furnace Hellkite, the 7-mana 5/5 affinity for artifacts.
It's a good one. The dragon, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I've cast this for 2 mana before. Yes. It's awesome. Can we get something good? Well, I mean, this is a playable card. Bell the Profane.
Okay.
It's the black flip DFC, destroy creature, planeswalker, or tap land.
That card basically replaces a swamp in any like constructed deck. It's just that good. It's no reason not to, especially since you can enter untapped.
Bolting yourself is not that big a deal.
No.
Oh, well, I do like our rare. It's Ophiomancer. This would absolutely be the pick, right?
I don't even remember what this does. Remind me what Ophiomancer does.
Probably because it's from Commander. And
that's what it is.
Came here, and now I guess it's gone back. So that's the 2 and a black. In the beginning of each upkeep, if you have no stakes, you make a 1/1 snake with Death Touch.
Oh, that's a solid card. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, really annoying. Good with sack stuff, too. The black kind of sacrifice deck with Warren Soul Trader and the
Nightblade,
Marionette Apprentice, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh, wow. This would have been a great pack for sealed. Fell the Profane Ophiomancer into Shilgengar, Sire of Famine. That's the 5 mana 6/6 flyer.
And if we took that Angel pack 1 too, we can get some true value going over here.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I mean, with the Shilgengar, Ophiomancer fell, and I guess the Fetid Gargantua or Expanding Ooze, that would be a pretty good setup for like black-white or black-green.
Definitely.
All right. Not the best packs. The rest of these, I swear I'm going to save the draft. I'm not going to open any more tonight.
I'll check in with you tomorrow and we'll see how that goes.
So we got something pretty special for y'all today. It's a spoiler spooky season spectacular. Ooh. Well, I mean, with all these Duskmourn cards coming out, I'm stoked. I always love the Halloween releases. I love the Innistrad ones. I love the vibes. Halloween's my favorite holiday. I'm in.
I gotta agree. I'm pumped for this set. It's kind of whiplash going from cute cuddly Bloomburrow to nightmare fuel Duskmourn. Not this upcoming Friday. The following Friday is Friday the 13th, and I wish this set came out that day. That would have been real cool, but still excited.
Yeah, I bet Wizards is kicking themselves over that one too. But
definitely.
I mean, that would have been just too close to Bloomburrow.
Yeah. I mean, it's already a little close.
Yeah, we're butting right up against it here. We wanted to talk about some of the most exciting, most flashy, and honestly, most chaffy cards that we're excited for coming for the next set. Some of these will be absolute game-winning bombs. Most of these will be the nonsense that we're hoping to get up to in some way, shape, or form. I think we should just kick it off with the big bad demon itself, right?
Let's do it. Yeah. Are you gonna make me try to pronounce Valgaroth? Valgavoth? How do you pronounce it?
Not Valvagoth.
Valgavoth.
Valgavoth. Valgavoth. Don't say the other thing.
Valgavoth.
I'm leaving all this in, by the way.
That's fine. All right, let's take an actual look at the first card here. We have the big bad of the set, Valgavoth. Yeah. Hopefully that's right. The Terror Eater. Oh boy, it's 9 mana, 6 colorless, 3 swamp for a 9/9 Elder Demon with flying, lifelink, no trample. Where's my flample?
Is it not good enough for you?
It's not good enough now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lines of text on this card, so it has
nowhere near done.
Nowhere near. It has ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. Okay, good. I thought we were going to reduce ward, but that's fine. It also says if a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. That's fine. And then during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. Wow. What a card.
I don't even know what to say about this. So
I know. I'm exhausted from reading that card.
It just wins, right?
It just wins. So ward sacrifice 3 non-land permanents is kind of insane in a limited format. Obviously, this is a 9 CMC card. Like, I don't know. Like, think back to MH3. How often did you actually get to cost Ulamog? Like all these 10-drop cards. And the ramp in that set was so set up for these giant Eldrazi. I don't know if this card's ever coming out, but if it does hit the field, it's game over.
To me, this looks like one of those Uber reanimator targets, a la, I don't know, Big Shieldred, or honestly, the card that this most reminds me of is Grizzlebrand. The pay 7 life, draw 7 cards.
I always forget about reanimator effects, and we do have some mill cards already spoiled for Duskmourn, so I'm sure there's going to be some actual reanimating cards.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a card that's called Say Its Name, that it just says mill 3 cards and then return a creature or land to your hand. Like you could just start pumping this into the graveyard.
Sure,
wow, this is a great recursion target.
Yeah, I guess if you have the sort of deck, I mean, sometimes in limited the reanimator stuff is like mana value 3 or less, or 5 or less, or stuff like that. But if there is a reanimator deck in this next limited format, I can't imagine a card that deck would want more than this, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at some other spoilers here too. We don't have to go too deep. There's a card called Valgaroth's Faithful. It's a 1-mana 1/1 human cleric, and then it has for 4, sacrifice this card, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So it's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
Valgaroth. Okay.
Yes.
That doesn't seem particularly beatable in any circumstances. So that's a 1-drop, you said? So
it's a 1-drop. Yeah.
Turn 2, you cast the mill thing,
Say
you
its
put a bunch of
name.
stuff in the grave. Turn 3, you do who cares?
And then bring
turn
back
4, you win.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah. Wow. Another pretty sick card from this set, Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. This is 2 blue-black for a 4 loyalty planeswalker, our only planeswalker of the set, presumably. Kaito still has a spark. Good for him. Basically, everyone else is desparked. Minotaur came back. She's desparked in the set. The Wanderer, Nico. Yeah, Tyvar lost his spark too. I mean, I'm excited to see a lot of these in card form. But anyway, Kaito has ninjutsu, which makes a lot of sense, I guess. So ninjutsu cost for him is 1 blue-black. So if you can return an unblocked attacker to your hand, and then put this card onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It also has a line of text that reads, during your turn, as long as Kaito has 1 or more loyalty counters on him, he's a 3/4 ninja creature and has hexproof. So that feels pretty good. I mean, by that point, there's nothing they could do to block it because it's already an unblocked creature. So it's definitely getting in for 3. And then it has a whole bunch of abilities. +1 is you get an emblem with ninjas you control get +1/+1. 0 says surveil 2, then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. And -2 says tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it.
I mean, that +1 seems crazy. Any +1 that's going to put an emblem on the field, that seems wild to me.
How many ninjas are in this set? That's the real question.
So, I'm trying to look it up right now. There's a ley line in this set. It's the blue ley line. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. That makes all your creatures a chosen creature type.
Oh my god, that's so sick. That's got to be an achievement, right?
Oh, that's definitely got to be an achievement.
Put that on the bounty board.
Gross, but I mean, there's a lot of survivor cards in this set. There's a chance some of these survivors might be put as ninjas. We'll see. I don't know if there's actually going to be anything, but still, this card seems kind of gross. All right, the next card, Ben's making me turn my head for this card because we're going to look at our first room here. This is a new type of enchantment. So there's 2 halves. You can pay for either side, and then later in the game at sorcery speed, you can pay for the other room to be opened. So then we're looking at first is Dollmaker's Shop / Porcelain Gallery. So Dollmaker's Shop is a 2 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 plains. And it says, whenever 1 or more non-toy creatures you control attack a player, create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. God, there's a lot of words on these cards, man.
Yeah, there are.
And then Porcelain Gallery, which can be played or opened at a later time, is a 6 CMC, 4 colorless, and 2 plains for an enchantment that says, creatures you control have base power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you control. Wow. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about these rooms. I mean, having options is always great in Magic, and cards that have options usually tend to see higher playability. So I'm curious to know how these work out. But this card seems great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little awkward if you have it early and you're on the back foot. It doesn't really protect you. It requires you to be attacking, and then it makes a 1/1. So if they have like a 2/2 lifelinker, you sort of just get blanked.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this card is that you could just top deck this, and then you're like, oh, cool, a great late game effect. And then I also could just unlock that extra first part as a bonus. It's almost like an adventure card where you get to cast the adventure half or the creature half, and you get to pick the order in which you do it. I like the flexibility on these a lot.
I do too. I'm curious to know how many, because I was looking into the rules. So if you blank one of these enchantments, or an opponent has a way to bounce it or whatever, it closes both rooms. So if this card just comes back into the field, you're gonna have to open both.
That sucks.
There's a card that was spoiled that is exile target enchantment, whatever. If you destroy that enchantment and it puts the card back onto the field, but the room back onto the field, both doors are closed. You just have a blank enchantment on the field that needs to be repaid for both sides. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a new I guess thing to look into. Or
When are they doing battles again?
I know. I was really hoping
Did they
battles were going to
forget?
come back in this set. They probably did forget.
Yeah, sorry, Watsy. We'll get them back someday. But yeah, like they just made a new card type for nothing. Why not just
Yeah.
make this a new card type? You know, it's whatever. But there is actually some more synergy that goes with this. There's this new mechanic called Eerie. Let's take a look at Unwilling Vessel. That's 2 and a blue for a 3/2 Vigilance. Ooh, blue getting vigilant over here. Now it has this thing called Eerie. It's sort of like a bunch of batched effects that all have to do with whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, as in like getting both sides live, put a possession counter on Unwilling Vessel. And then it says when it dies, create an XX blue spirit creature token with flying, where X is the number of counters on it. So, oh, that's kind of interesting. It actually doesn't matter what type of counter. It could be any type of counter.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's interesting. I don't know if that's equal to number of counters on it. Yeah, wow.
It doesn't seem like an accident. I mean, that means if you start buffing it with 1/1 counters as well as putting enchantment things into play or unlocking rooms. Also, I saw that there's -1/-1 counters in this set.
Yeah, set with -1/-1 and +1/+1 is interesting.
Well, I guess the note for this card is that they would cancel each other out rather than all count as counters.
Yes.
But if you put 2 -1/-1 counters on this somehow, or if your opponent does also, that would just automatically give you a 2/2 flyer. I mean, this seems like a great rate, right?
I was gonna say, even like at a base rate, this card seems strong enough to play. It seems Azorius is going to be the Enchantment Matters sub theme. So yeah, I feel like even just keeping this in and just even if you get 1 enchantment and it replaces itself.
Yeah, this is my kind of Chaff.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we swap gears to a not at all Chaff card? Like this might be the best card in the set, right?
Oh, okay. I mean, there's a couple. So we're going to take a look at Overlord of the Mistmoors. So there's an Overlord for each of the, I guess, plane. Like, what are they? Are they like the land themes in this set, right? It's like each location.
How do you have lands in this set? I don't really.
Yeah. So this is a 7 CMC, 5 colorless, 2 planes for a 6/6 enchantment creature, Avatar Horror. It's got a new mechanic called Impending. So this one has Impending for you pay 2 colorless and 2 white mana. Says if you cast the spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters on it, and it isn't a creature until the last is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. It also says when Overlord of the Mist Rooms enters or attacks, create 2/2/1 white insect creature tokens with flying. Yeah, wow. I mean, this card's pretty nuts, right? I mean, you get 4 bodies. I mean, you even get 2 bodies for 4 mana, really.
Yeah. So the way this plays out, I guess, unless you have 1,000,000 mana and you just want the effect right away, you're going to cast this for Impending on turn 4. You get 2/2/1 flyers. That seems like a great rate. And then you do have to wait 4 whole turns. But then the moment this thing attacks, and it's already on the battlefield, so it won't have Summoning Sickness, right? The moment this thing attacks, you get 2 more 2/1 flyers, and then you get 2 more the next turn, and 2 more. Like the game's over by that point, right?
No, I mean these Overlords. There's been a couple of them spoiled. They seem nutty. They feel like the Titans we used to have in the past, like very similar vibe to them. I haven't seen anything yet. Like these would be great blink targets, like blink target enchantment or something that removes all the time counters and you just get the creature.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know how this set works out with that, but something to think about.
Along the same lines, reanimating them too would work out really well.
Oh, very true. Yeah, God, a lot of great reanimator targets in this set. You assume a set like this, which really just feels like Innistrad Light, would have some graveyard synergies.
Next up, we've got another new mechanic featuring Hauntwood's Shrieker. Also, I'm questioning some of the lore of this set. I thought this was like a haunted house. This is a beast mutant. Who put a beast in the house? Is it just like a creature?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the lore, but the lore is like the house took over the whole plane, right? So I mean, you have to take over the trees, right?
Yeah, that's true. This is 1 green for a 3/3 beast mutant and mythic, and it says whenever it attacks, manifest dread.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this because we already have manifest as an ability. I don't like how they kind of it's. I mean, obviously it's a similar effect as you'll describe here, but I don't know. I wish they differentiated it a little bit.
It says, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put 1 on the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature and the other into your graveyard. Turn it face up for any time for its mana cost if it's a creature. That's pretty interesting with all these reanimator things, and Delirium is a key in the set too, a keyword that we have coming up. So
graveyard is pretty important in this set. So I have a feeling that reanimator is going to be quite powerful. And the manifest dead is just a strictly better manifest. You get the option here.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a land and spell, you'll pretty much always be incentivized to put the spell in the graveyard and land underneath, unless you have a creature that you could reasonably turn up, and then you actually have a pretty interesting decision point. Do you want to put it under the manifest and hope that it stays around long enough to flip it up? Or do you want to put it in the graveyard and just kind of get value out of a land and get value from the creature in the graveyard? A lot of cool options. Did I even mention that it has another ability on it? So whenever it attacks, you manifest Dread. And then it has 1 of the green, reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. That's a pretty big incentive to put something like Overlord of the Mistmoors under your manifest Dread.
Yeah,
or Valve.
We got to come up with a nickname for him.
Yeah. Valgy.
Let's go Val. Let's just go Val.
Val. That's honestly, let's just stick with that.
Yeah. So this ability is pretty interesting. It's yeah. Wow. This set feels much more powerful from a like just constructed format than Bloomburrow did. Like Bloomburrow felt very laid back. Like this is already like a high power set in my mind.
Yeah. I like to look at this one a lot.
Oh, me too. This reveal target face down permanent thing too is pretty fun because you could target your opponent's cards if you don't feel like guessing what they have. It's a May ability, so you don't have to.
May. Oh, that's so funny.
I wonder if you can I wonder if there's some cards that like care about being flipped over, and you can kind of like time in a way that it's not great for your opponent if you flip their stuff. It's something to think about.
Oh, wait a minute. So you could, let's say you flip their thing. So they have a 2/2. So they block with it. They block your 2/2. You activate this. You reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature and it's worse, or even if it's a better thing that you want to trade still,
blow it out. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's like just something fun to do.
What a brutal card. I mean, wow, what a neat design.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying this set so far. Like Bloomburrow felt very linear in what you did. Like this, there seems to be room for like creativity in this set.
So you don't have any fears, do you?
Oh, I have a lot of fears. This set is giving me some stuff. So yeah, I guess a sub theme in this set or cards you'll see are the fear cards. The one we here have an example here is Fear of Burning Alive, which I mean is pretty morbid to, I guess, jump right into. So this is a 6 CMC, 4 colorless, 2 red mana for a 4/4 enchantment creature, Nightmare. All the fear cards are nightmares. This says when Fear of Burning Alive enters, it deals 4 damage to each opponent. Ready to die to this chaff in a game?
I mean, speaking of flicker, like...
oh, that's true. Wow. It also has Delirium. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, Fear of Burning Alive deals that amount of damage to target creature that player controls. And this card, I mean, it still seems pretty solid. All the fear cards seem pretty good, but this is like the type of card we had. The can't remember, it was the common legendary in MH3.
Skoa Ember Mage.
Skoa, yeah, which deal 4 damage to target opponent. Like this is the worst way to lose the game, right? Like hands down.
I mean, this sort of does the Skoa thing. Like this might just be better, right?
Because I think it is a strictly better Skoa.
Yeah, it can smack. It smacks them every time. And if you have Delirium, it smacks a thing that they control for 4. By the way, the phrasing on that is kind of awkward. It almost looks as if
it replaces the damage effect. Yeah.
It looks like, with like the number of card types in graveyard, I'm pretty sure that would still be 4 damage. And then if you like bolt their face, you get to bolt a creature too. So cool.
Pretty good card.
Oh, I love this next card already. I'm gonna be casting a lot of veteran survivors, I'm sure. This is white for a 2/1. I'm already in. It's a human survivor, uncommon. And another new mechanic we got here is survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if veteran survivor is tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. And as long as there are 3 or more cards exiled with veteran survivor, it gets +3/+3 and has hexproof. Nice.
I was gonna say this screams ban white weenies.
Yeah, it does.
This also feels like another bounty board card.
Honestly, yeah, it doesn't seem that easy. So the joke is that they survived combat, right? They either attacked and tapped, or you found another way to tap them. Convoke heads. We're back in standard.
There is Convoke in this set too. Don't forget.
Yeah. Oh, there's also Pyroclasm in this set.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and a stupid rare we're going to be talking about in maybe 3 more cards or so. That
I like the survival mechanic though. This is like the type of mechanic I really enjoy, where you're like, I don't know, you get a benefit for just playing around it. I guess that's any card, but this is more like the strategy I like in these types of sets. So when a card refers to itself, it says if veteran survivor is tapped, exile 1, blah blah blah. This only cares about itself, right? If you have multiples of this out, it doesn't stack that ability, correct?
Yeah,
it has to be this
just
specific.
This.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just this case. This is kind of interesting. In the early turns, it'll be able to get in, and it would trigger survival, right? But in the late game, the question is, how do you get this thing to be able to attack to get survival to trigger? You really need to find other ways to get this thing to tap besides just attacking, because you can't always count on a 1-mana 2/1 getting in.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this feels like a Boros aggro card where you kind of hold up a threat of like a spell trap, a hand trap. All right. Oh, this is a fun one for the next one. We have the Jolly Balloon Man, a 3 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 mountain, 1 plains for a 1/4 legendary creature, human clown. It has haste, and then it has 1 colorless and tap it to create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types, has flying and haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, activate only as a sorcery. Wow,
so
okay. Yeah, I mean, people are calling this card like the Kiki Jiki of whatever of the balloons.
Wow. I guess it is just the backside of Fable the Mirror Breaker.
Yes.
Except it makes a 1/1 balloon instead, right?
I can't think of the name. There's like this like manga or anime that has basically this body horror type thing on it, where it's like these giant balloon heads coming at you. This is what that reminds me of. Freaks me out.
Know. Discord, let us know. I don't know, but I got like it vibes. Guess just from the clown aspect. But yeah, those inflated heads. I'm glad we have this whiplash from Bloomburrow to this, because you know, like, baby mode is over. It's time for the real messed up stuff to come out. Jolly Balloon Man, nasty combo with Fear of Burning Alive if you start copying that thing.
Oh wow, yeah. We were just talking about like almost flicker effects. I mean, this isn't like a true flicker, but copying is just as good. Wow.
Yeah, rebuying those ETVs. This seems really messed up. Also, I mean, I guess it's a 3-mana 1/4 with haste, so like it's not the worst top deck. You get to use it right away, but the body isn't really. You need a very particular vector.
Yeah, this is a build around card. Yeah. This card feels very Rakdos. Like I mean, it's not a Rakdos card, but like the image of the clown feels very Rakdos like when we were on Ravnica.
Yeah, I'll DM someone an arena code. If someone in Discord can tell me what exactly about this card makes it white.
Yeah, it's so true.
But where's the benevolence? Is it because he's giving you balloons? Is that it? Because that's not worth an arena code.
So generous.
Look who's here. It's Norin the Wary. How did you get here, buddy? Did you fall through a door? Norin, swift survivalist. This is like a character that's been around for a lot longer than I've been playing the game, to be honest.
I mean, this card's, I mean, the original Norin's played in EDH a lot too. It's a really fun card. So it's interesting to see him here. Unfortunately, uncommon, but.
This is, wow, another Savannah Alliance. Red for a 2/1. Legendary. Human coward, obviously. Norin is notoriously cowardly. But honestly, on Duskmourn, that's like a fine thing to be.
That's
right?
valid. Yeah, no, that's valid.
you should be a coward on Duskmourn. Human coward and uncommon. Norin, swift survivalist, can't block. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. You may play that card from exile this turn.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So
it's not great, right? Like I'm trying to figure out where this is good.
So it lets you pretty much swing every turn without fear of your stuff truly dying, because the moment it becomes blocked, I mean, they could have like a sonar stripe type effect. Let's say that again. They could have a sonar strike type effect where when you go and put this ability on the stack, then before damage is dealt and before this ability resolves, they ping it. But otherwise, this means you can pretty much just attack with all your stuff every turn without fear of it dying.
Yeah,
you have to repay it though.
Your opponent's getting like a free unsummon almost. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
it slows you down. Obviously, this is a 1-mana 2/1, but I'm having a hard time thinking this card's going to be good.
Yeah, I guess the joke with Norin is that you get to attack with this for free basically every turn, because Well, it is just this turn that you get to replay it. Every turn in which you'd have 1 mana left over, you get a free attack with Norn. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. All right, next up, we have a card that I'm sure our standard lovers are excited for.
Not me.
And what does standard need but another board wipe? So we have Split Up. It is a 3 CMC, 1 colorless, 2 white mana for a sorcery. It has 2 modes. You choose one. You can either destroy all tapped creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. A 3 CMC board wipe, Ben. How are we feeling about this? How does Convoke feel about this?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good. Well, I mean, are we just going to be playing against like Boros Control with Pyroclasm and Split Up? Like,
yeah.
What's my deck to
WotC
do?
hates Convoke, is what I'm learning.
It seems like it. I mean, Split Up this, well, I guess my one reprieve is that they'll never get to kill all my creatures with it, because I'll either have some tapped and untapped. The most striking thing about this card to me is the art. Dominic Mayer, once again, just slamming it out of the park with this super evocative. I mean, they split up.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Scooby-Doo-esque too, Split Up. We can
Right. Yeah, it's like a flashlight sort of spell thing happening at the top there. Someone I on the right, they're either dying or they're ascending to heaven or something.
They're getting wiped out by a sonar blast, like we just talked about.
The person on the bottom does not look like they're having a great time. I don't know if they're along for this world. And the person on the left looks like they're about to bite it too. So
the art in this set has just been phenomenal. Like Bloomburrow was nice and pretty, but like this just evokes kind of like a spiritual reaction almost in a
yeah. I think a lot of players are going to have a spiritual reaction to our next card. This one's going to be a bounty if I've ever seen it. Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. 5 and a blue, legendary artifact. It's a rare. When it ETBs, if you cast it, draw 5 cards. So no flickering this enchantment. None of that nonsense. I mean, if you just stopped right there, you'd probably put this in like any blue deck, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even think of a time we've seen a card that just says draw 5 cards.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards. Well, 6 mana, draw 5. That would be all well and good, but there's some upsides and downsides that go with it. It also says you have no maximum hand size and you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life.
All right, now we could just end it, right? We don't go any further. This is the best card ever printed.
I mean, I think so, but unfortunately, well, actually, you know what? We're not even to that part yet. It's still good. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Should I finish the...
No, I think we can stop it there. We can move to the next card.
Whenever you lose life, discard that many cards. Then if you have no cards in hand, you lose the game.
God, that is scary.
That is so scary. Okay, so you go to functionally 5 life, right? You get 5 cards in hand.
Oh, that's a good way.
Thing in your
that is a very good way to put that. Yeah, your hand size is your life total.
And if you play 1 card a turn for the rest of the game and are able to block for the rest of the game, you'll be fine. Actually, you don't even... Well, you do need to block. Well, that's the funny thing. You don't lose the game for having 0 less life, but then your life functionally becomes the cards in your hand. You can almost ignore that aspect because if you're at like 20 life, I just don't think I would play this.
No, I agree. This is like, this will save you late game. That's true. Yeah, this gets strictly better the lower your life because at a certain point, you're like, I'm just dead on board. This saves me, draws me 5, and gets me an out.
Yeah, if you're at 1 and you rip this off the top, I mean, that kind of, you could do something there. I mean,
it feels almost gross. Yeah, your opponent's like, I'm about to kill you, and then you drop this, and like, all right, now what do I do?
They gain 5. I mean, this could swing a tight race or a top deck war, but honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to put this. I'll put this card in my deck like once at the end of the format. I just get that kind of vibe from it, but I think you're probably not supposed to play. I mean, maybe there's enough life gain, but the thing is, this doesn't stop you from decking yourself by drawing out. I feel like it really should, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't lose for having 0 life or drawing out your library. Because it's going to draw. If you're playing a life gain deck, I don't know how prevalent that's going to be for this set. You're going to draw yourself out really quick. Yeah, it's a weird card. It's another build around card, but we'll see what the format brings us. All right, let's take a look at the land base for this set. So Bloomburrow didn't have any common lands, but we are back in business with some common lands. Let's do it. The example here we have is the Is It land. It's Peculiar Lighthouse. It says Peculiar Lighthouse enters tapped unless a player has 13 or less life. Perfect. Taps for blue or red. These are crazy good, right? Like insanely good.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have it untapped in the early game because it's 13 or less, and you're probably not playing, I don't know, Death Shadow.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're probably not cycling street raids and getting yourself down to 13 that quickly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. At the point when this becomes the most relevant, it's probably when your mana's fixed. Probably won't be sad about it. It's like an untapped land in the late game.
You're correct there. I didn't think about that. By the time this is actually relevant, it's a little worse. But I don't know. Like I've gotten to like turn 7 of a game, and I'm like, I have a 7 drop in my hand, and I'm like praying for an untapped land. And if I hit this, it's gonna feel a lot better. Like it's strictly better than I feel like a lot of the dual lands we've seen in the past.
Yeah, this might be better than like the gain lands outside of sets that have that sort of thing. I wouldn't say better than the ping lands from Outlaws because that had a lot of crime synergies. But this is definitely better than your average like 2-color common, because it is just a 2-color tapped dual. You can just play these as many as you want for free, and they'll just be tapped dual lands like we're used to, and splash around, make some 3-color brews, 4-color reanimator with Val and some others. Who cares?
Yeah, no, it seems great.
Speaking of 5-color fixing, we've got Haunted Screen. This card.
Oh my god, this card is so cool.
What a grand slam of design. 3 mana for an artifact at uncommon. You can tap to add white or black. Or you can tap, pay 1 life, add green, blue, or red. I mean, it's perfect. Even if we just stopped there, it's perfect. So hate to ruin the joke for anyone that hasn't thought of it yet, but it's free black and white TV. You just get to watch it in black and white. But if we upgrade it to RGB, then it's going to cost you. But you can in a pinch. Does this imply that there's some sort of 5-color deck, or is this just a joke?
I feel like this has to be a joke. It's just too good not to print. Like this is the set this card's going to show up in. It's such a flavor win. I don't know if this card's really going to see play in limited, but it's one of those cards.
I mean, I think this is brilliant design. It also has a cool ability. It says pay 7 generic mana, 7 mana, put 7 1/1 counters on Haunted Screen. It becomes a 0/0 spirit creature in addition to its other types. Activate only once. So a la the Ring, after 7 days, you get to put 7 counters on and a big spirit pops out.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, when I first saw this card, I'm like, oh, are they going to print like a cycle of these that tap for 2-color, and then pay to play the rest? But it feels silly, and the flavor of this card is just too beautiful to kind of replicate.
I heard there were some people getting upset about like chainsaws and TVs and cheerleaders and magic. I think this is awesome. This is camp, and actually in the story, they skate around a lot of the details of the family that moved into this house. And we actually just got a bit of a hint at it from the card Marina Vendrell's Grimoire, that Marina Vendrell had something to do with Val's takeover of the house and then the plane. But they sort of describe the world as being almost, imagine if Dominaria advanced to the 80s. Like it's like modern times. There's like schools and buildings and coffee shops and that sort of thing. But then they also they have all that sort of modern 80s-ish tech. But then there's also elves that live in the woods still, and there's sorcerers that you can go check out down the street. It's almost like I don't know if there's like a D&D world equivalent of this, but this feels like a pretty cool lived-in idea.
It does, yeah. So magic still exists in this plane. It's just utilized a little different.
Is the closest thing I could describe this to Adventure Time, or like Fiona and Cake.
Cake's world. Yeah, like almost like pre-Mushroom War, where like
there's
magic still existed. They were just a little subdued.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, interesting. This set would have been perfect to have like a Stranger Things tie-in. Like this set is so Stranger Things coded.
True. Didn't we already have a Stranger Things Secret Lair?
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. The next card we're looking at, this is like a 2-part card, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
The card is Say Its Name. This is it's so good.
This is so good.
2 CMC card, 1 colorless, 1 forest. It's a sorcery. It says mill 3 cards, and you may return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. And this by itself is pretty solid. Like I like these type of effects. We had Cash Grab recently, and then there was the one in MH3. I can't remember the name right now.
Malevolent Rumble. Yeah.
Yes. It also has another line of text that says exile this card and 2 other cards named Say Its Name from your graveyard. Okay, that's a tongue twister, first of all.
Yeah.
And then it says, search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card named Altank. There's some weird card names in this set.
Altenak, I think.
Altenak, I like that.
Oh, be careful. Don't say it 3 times.
Okay. The thrice called, and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. Oh man, I love this type of card. Do you want to read the other half of this before we kind of talk about it?
I would love to. First of all, I wonder if it counts as saying its name if you mispronounce it, because then I think I might be safe from this guy. Altenak, the thrice called. 5 green for a 9/9 insect beast with trample. Boom. I mean, that's already just a massive late game finisher. Whenever Altenak the thrice called becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. And it has 1 of the green, discard Altenak the thrice called, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Wow. And this is uncommon too. I mean, even this card feels pretty powerful by itself, not even getting to the fact that you can potentially cast it for free.
Yeah, the question is, how easy would it be to get say its name? I mean, in the first couple weeks, everyone is going to speculate on these. Everyone's going to want to do it. And then in like the second and third week, no one's going to want to do it because everyone that's good is going to know it's a trap. And that's where we're going to really cook.
Well, say its name is just a good card too. Like even not thinking about the other half of this, like as we've been going through these cards, the reanimator and the graveyard sub-theme seems really powerful. There's so many great targets. Altenak can basically has cycling in a way. It's easy to put in the graveyard and it's a great target as well. I just want to get this off once. This is my goal. This is like the most bounty board of bounty board, combos if I've seen one.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think it's going to be harder to do than it looks because of say its name and because everyone's going to be excited to do it. Maybe you're only supposed to really take like the 3rd copy once you have Altenak. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you need Altenak first before you really start grabbing the say its name. Commons are a little harder to find now that we have play boosters, so I'm curious to know how often this is actually going to happen.
True. That being said, Altenak, I do like the other lines of text on this. This reminds me, it's actually a pretty great mashup of several of my favorite cards from Outlaws at Thunder Junction. This reminds me a lot of the that 3rd ability reminds me a lot of the Spinewoods Armadillo. You can't do it on turn 2 because you need to target a land in your graveyard. So you have to get a land in there somehow. Then you can pitch this to ramp. It's kind of funny. You're pitching this to ramp, but then like, what are you ramping into? Not this because you pitched it, right?
True.
And also that second line of text, that's word for word from Cactarantula, right?
Yes. This card, it's Cactarantula. I can't even pronounce that card. Is there such a good card? I mean, the ability to draw a card. I'm curious to know why this isn't just a ward ability. I don't know if we've discussed this in the past, like why the warding is like this, not just ward, draw a card.
Yeah, good question. I guess this is better than that because ward, they'd only have to
pay once.
But
it's once per effect, right? Like, is ward once per turn? Yeah, whatever. I wouldn't have to speculate too much, but still a great card.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a lot of fun. Love what they're going for design-wise here.
All right, the next 2 cards we're going to take a look at here are actually only available in the new bundle they have coming out, which looks pretty good. I think you get 5 or 6 play boosters and 2 collector boosters. Seems pretty solid. And you get these promo cards too. So the first one we're looking at here is Living Death. We know a Living Death, right? It's a 5 CMC, 3 colorless, 2 black. Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyard and then sacrifices all creatures they control, then puts all creatures they exiled this way onto the battlefield.
I love this art. This is so campy, so over the top, so ridiculous.
Movie poster,
yeah. I almost hope other people don't like it so I can get more than myself. Like I love this kind of nonsense. I actually think I remember hearing that whatever cards you don't open, or maybe it's all of them, you get like little mini posters of those in the bundle as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I read that you're not guaranteed all of the promos. It's like a selected one for each.
Another one like that is Damn. That's the black destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated, or you can overload it for 2 white. This one is actually done by one of the Goosebumps artists, as are the other ones in this cycle. So honestly, good on them for bringing it in. I was just talking in Discord. I posted about the Choose Your Own Adventure story article that they posted. I'm proud to announce that I did survive Duskmourn very easily. It's because one of the options was when you get to the strange, is it barricades? Do you lie to the guards? Do you sneak your way in? Or do you go get a cup of coffee and mull it over? Obviously, I went for the coffee. And, it says something like, you had a very pleasant morning. You never thought about it again.
Nice.
Yeah. So I made it out. I don't know if other people will as well. I recommend it. It's a pretty fun little choose your own adventure. We've got a listener question this week from Nathan. Bloomburrow, Nathan asks, focuses on 10 creature types that inhabit Valley. When we return to Bloomburrow, which typal themes would you like to revisit, and which other types would you like to see as new build-arounds?
Ooh, I like this.
Great question.
I mean, for me, I feel like the birds didn't get their time to shine. I feel like
I had a feeling you'd say this.
Yeah, Azorius, we were able to get some successful Azorius decks going, and obviously it's not the prime choice. But I don't feel like birds were properly represented, and I'd love to see us revisit them and actually get some good bird cards.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you thinking on this one?
I would like to see some of the creature types that we got, but sort of as like weird one-offs.
Okay.
Gerbils come to mind.
Yes.
Stoats come to mind. Even some of the elemental calamity beasts had some interesting creature types that could have been played up. Cats could be played up next time we come around. I think the only cat in the set is red, the Sunspine Lynx, but we could get like green, white cats going, some stuff like that. Probably could get some of the snakes going. That's kind of like lizards. Maybe black red next time around is snakes. Or
how about the mole? I want to see one of the moles.
Oh yeah, moles, like blue-green moles or something. That could be cool. Instead of frogs, we do axolotl, salamanders, something like that. Yeah.
Our draft chaff hero for this set was Brightblade Stoat. And one of the things we kind of discussed is like, what is a bright blade? Like, I'd love to see kind of the lore behind that and kind of like visit that next time we go back.
Mm-hmm. Let's jump into Teferi Tibalt. We'll talk about a high and a low from the past week. What's going on, dude?
So yeah, Rose. We're just talking about the birds here. We're actually heading back into fall migration for bird season. It's officially starting in my mind. I just picked up my weekly birding allotment to try to make up for it. So quite excited for that. And then we're getting closer to the birth of my first child, and my nursery is almost done. I'm doing some electrical work this week, but just want to be done. I'm in that like nesting mood where I need to get my house totally finished for her arrival. Cool. Thorn this week. I mean, didn't really have too much to complain about. Labor Day was kind of crappy, right? Weather-wise, kind of sucked this weekend, but still had a good time with family and friends. So not too big of a thorn. How about you? I'm sure I have a guess for what your week might be like.
Yeah, I am gonna start with my Tibalt. My thorn is that I am officially back in school. As soon, like the minute we finish recording, I'm going to be back making stuff for tomorrow's lessons.
Oh boy.
I'm teaching a new class, and there's some headbutting with some other teachers, and there's the whole thing about changing textbooks because I don't have enough, and now I have to rework all my stuff.
Oh
and
no,
it's
man.
an honors class, so the pace is high, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort, but
welcome back.
yeah, might be playing a little less Magic the next 2 weeks, but I'll be back just in time for Duskmourn. Honestly, I was going to say, this might be a good time for it.
This is my chance to catch up on the leaderboards. Then I guess is what you're telling me.
Yeah, go for it. My Teferi was that I had a pretty fun but pretty packed weekend. I got to go to the beach for the first time in a while. I didn't get to go as much as I wanted over the summer, so that was nice. Got to go to a prom themed party.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The theme was prom, and my girlfriend, it was funny, she couldn't find any dresses that she wanted to wear, but she did find a suit that fit her.
Oh,
so
perfect.
We wore matching suits, which was pretty sick. We had matching ties and everything.
Did you get her a little boutonniere? Did you pin it to her?
Oh, we thought about it, but other people at the party had them, and we were so disappointed to think of it too. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it could be worse. I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to play in any of the RCQs. There were like 3 or 4 in the local area this weekend, and I was just too swamped with schoolwork on Sunday to be able to go out. So, yeah, we'll check in next week when I'm sure my Tibalt will be that I'm losing sleep. But for now, I'm imagining a good 6 hours, so that's
all right. Respectable.
Yeah, we'll kind of bump that up a little bit. with that, listener, thanks for joining us this week. We're very stoked for Duskmourn. If you'd like to chat about us with it with us, maybe 6 hours isn't enough. Hop in Discord. That's where you can find all things Draft Chaff. Patrons, thank you as always. You rock. You're keeping us going. And be sure to follow us on socials. We've got the YouTube stuff popping off. New drafts, live drafts, Mondays, Wednesdays. Maybe we'll mix up the formats the next couple of weeks. People are sick of Bloomburrow. I think Dominaria might still be up. See what else is going on. And with that, see you next week. Quick sign off before I get back to my nonsense. I read a book for the first time in a very long time.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
I've graduated to hop on pop, actually.
Oh, there we go. Okay, very nice.
Yeah. It's a book called Exhalation by Ted Chiang. And this guy was actually kind of going around. I believe he wrote the short story that Arrival was based on, that excellent movie from like 2014, whatever, whenever it came out. But he's sort of like a prominent modern day sci-fi writer, you could say. Probably one of the best alive, if we really had to rank it. He wrote this series of short stories. And Exhalation is the name of this compilation of short stories. And the first one, I'm only going to say the first one because I think it could really... It hooked me instantly. And if you listener are interested as well, I think it might hook you too. The first is about... It's set a couple thousand years ago in Cairo, I think. And there's some traders, sort of like picture like a bazaar almost. And this dude goes into someone's shop and he's looking around and he sees this ring. And the guy is like, hey, shop owner, what does this do? And the guy is like, oh, that's my time gate. He sticks his hand through, but it doesn't come out the other side. 5 seconds later, his hand comes out the other side and waves.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's like a time delay gate. And that sets up the premise, because then the guy's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, is this some illusion, some kind of trick? Like, how are you doing this? And the owner's like, no, I'm just lucky. I built this, found it, doesn't matter. But you want to see my other cool thing? So he takes the guy to the back and he has a time gate that a person can fit through.
Oh, wow.
So the first one was called the Gate of Seconds. This is called the Gate of Years. And if you step through the Gate of Years, you can go either 20 years in the future or 20 years in the past. And you cannot alter either. You, in the future or the past, are part of the history either way.
That's trippy. So you can't change either direction, but you're still there for it?
It is so elegantly written.
Oh, wow.
And then within this, the shop owner tells you a series of short stories about people that have come and used the gate. It's almost like a parable within a parable. I was instantly hooked. There are some about people that go to the future to see if they become rich or famous or if they're dead in 20 years. It's honestly fascinating. Also going to shout out this guy because he just published a really good op-ed in the New York Post about why AI can't create art. I would recommend that as a